Alright guys, James at RampantLionReviews again for you today. For this one, we are doing another out and about video for you. So today, I'm in Seoul in South Korea, my first time here since 2019, so quite excited about that. And as I've said in many of my Korean beer reviews, the scene here has developed quite a lot in the last 6 years. So we're going to check out this place behind me, which is Chillhops Itaewon project. These guys are, of course, very well known for their New England hazy IPAs, but from what I've seen on the menu, they've got quite a few other things. So we'll do as we always do. We'll go in, we'll try some of the beers, we'll have a look around. They have got some nice food here as well, so you can look forward to that in this video. But really cool to be filming again in South Korea. Let's get started on this one. Alright guys, so just to let you see where we are. So this is the exterior of Chillhops Itaewon project, and we're kind of on a wee hill here. It's actually quite a cool area. When you walk around here in Itaewon, there's quite a lot of just little restaurants and things like that there. You can see we've got the Upper East Pizza up there, and then the Acme Hair Salon and stuff. And then you come over here, you're greeted by the nice Chillhops Brewing Company sign and fresh beer on tap there, so it's really cool. But yeah, quite a nice little gathering place as well. So yeah, I've been filming over here, but yeah, when you come in, it's a really nice place actually. So yeah, they've got all their cans and stuff up here. Over this side, they've got the nice kind of neon light and things like that, and the kiwi and stuff. And then you come round here, the bar is just up here. So yeah, there you can see the nice neon lights. It's very 80s that actually, I do really like it. The bar's over here, the guys are chilling behind the bar, waiting for us to order more beer. And yeah, they've got their Aussie bakery pies and sausage rolls and stuff like that. So yeah, really cool little space actually. So yeah, we'll go back to the table and decide what is the next beer to order. So a very, very quick walk around in here for you. So time to get more beer on the table. Alright guys, well, time for our first tasting then here in Chillhops Itaewon project. So yeah, as I often do with these videos, we're going to start off with a nice lager because I love the lager beer family, and they had one on the menu that was quite interesting to me, I have to say. So beer number one is called Frog Splash, comes in at 5.6% ABV, and they're calling this one a New Zealand Pilsner. So basically, yeah, a New Zealand hopped Pilsner style beer. So remember, the Pilsner as a style originated in the Czech city of Pilsen. At the time it was developed in the sort of mid-1800s, if you like. That was part of the Austro-Hungarian Empire. The style was actually developed by a Bavarian brewer who moved there, but he was kind of run out of the town later. But that Pilsner was Plzeňský Pastroj in Czech, Pilsner Urquell in German. Beer that we all know and kind of should love today. I really enjoy a PU. But yeah, a New Zealand hopped Pilsner lager, this one. So yeah, looks really interesting. When it came out, it had a finger of a frothy, I would say kind of cream coloured head there. You can see this one is crystal clear. Fair little bit of carbonation visible with this one. But yeah, it looks really, really quite nice, I have to say. Yeah, so I don't think there's anything else we really need to say about the appearance of this one. When it comes to lager beers, of course, these beers are bottom fermented beers. They're fermented at lower temperatures using lower temperature yeast, so they'll ferment between like 8 to 12 degrees Celsius normally. But yeah, Pilsner beers for me, one that I really, really quite enjoy. So quite happy to find one of these here at Chillhops, because for me, this brewery is one that I know more for its hazy IPAs, because that's what they exported over to Hong Kong. So yeah, let's have a wee look at the nose on this one then and see what it's all about. Ooh. I'm going to say straight away, it smells really nice. I mean, what I want from this kind of style of beer is something that gives you that sort of Czech German authenticity. These days, for me, the Czech Pilsners are a bit kind of smoother and more creamy and yeasty, whereas the German ones are a little bit kind of drier and cleaner at the same time, if you like. But yeah, this one smells really, really nice. So gives you everything you'd want. That bit of kind of wet breadiness, the wee bit of Pilsner malt crispness on the top of the nose. And yeah, just that fresh hoppiness actually. I have to admit, if I was smelling this blind without knowing it was a New Zealand Pilsner, I actually wouldn't guess that it had New Zealand hops in it. It does actually smell quite noble. So yeah, the backbone of the beer is that lovely kind of fresh white bready bread crust in there. You've got a wee touch of like woodiness in there, a bit of cracker. Yeah, mix of like white bread and brown bread, of course. At the back of the nose, you get that Pilsner malty sort of crispness coming out of the beer. There's a little touch of like, you know, McVitie's digestive biscuit. There's a wee bit of that sweetness in there. I don't know if I'd go as far as like caramel with this one. Definitely biscuit. Yes, definitely kind of biscuity this one, but the malt base and the yeasty side of it like smells really authentically German. Yeasty side of this beer, back of the nose, it's a wee bit brown bready and white bready, if you like. Yeah, the hoppy side of this one, like I said, it's actually quite noble. It smells very smooth and German. You've got a wee bit of like earthiness in there. You've got a wee bit of like woody herbally note, nice kind of floral notes, mainly leaning toward the grassy side of things. That makes me think if it's New Zealand hops, Motueka maybe. It doesn't feel like it, you know, Nelson Sauvin would maybe fit this as well, but I think that the floral notes would be a bit more aggressive if it was Nelson Sauvin because it's really high in alpha acid, like 16%. But yeah, the green component for me, softly earthy, softly herbal, nice little bit of like grassy and floral note for sure. Yeah, fruity wise, it's kind of what you'd expect. You've got like a wee bit of like peary note in there, like dried apricot maybe, but it's leaning toward that kind of gooseberry limey side of things. And again, that's what makes me think Motueka or Nelson Sauvin. Yeah, can't really think of any other Kiwi hops that would fit that bill, to be honest with you, because most of the other ones are kind of like, are mostly tropical. But a wee bit of like Rakal or Riwaka or something in here wouldn't surprise me either, because it has got that wee bit of peary and apricot note to it. But in all, as I say, it's only really the fruitiness in this one which comes across as being overtly Kiwi, New Zealand. For me, this beer is actually really quite noble in a way. So yeah, I have to say that about this. This is really, really nice. And you can see here actually, we're talking about this. There you can see one of the Chillhops symbols. You've got your koala and your kiwi on the front there. So I have to say I like the glass. But yeah, let's taste this one then. Frog Splash, 5.6% ABV, and New Zealand Pilsner. My first beer here at Chillhops Itaewon. So let's do it. Slanja, skål, cheers. Ganbei, as they say in Korean. That's nice. That's a good place to start. Yeah. First impression. I think if I was tasted this blind again, I might think this was a Helles rather than a Pilsner because it's not quite as bitey. Almost. It's very, very smooth actually. But in fairness, you do get a little bit of the Pilsner malt bitiness building into the aftertaste, and you get that wee bit of bitterness there. Of course, Pilsner Urquell is about 30 IBUs. This one feels as if it's a wee bit less than that, but again, it comes across as very clean. And that is a thing you notice generally with Asian beer, is beer is viewed as something to clear the throat. So a lot of the times you'll get beers with the same flavours, but just lighter in the mouthfeel, because it's supposed to be clean and drinkable. So yeah, this one's like a very, very clean Pilsner, this one, but I like it. I enjoy a good lager. This one certainly wouldn't hesitate to drink again. Anyway, flavour-wise, middle of the palate, you've got that kind of fresh white bready bread crust as the backbone there. Further forward, you've got that wee touch of woodiness, that, at least that I always get, wee bit of cracker, some brown bread in the base. You move above that, you've got a more kind of fluffy white bread. Gets a little bit drier in the aftertaste. Then you've got a kind of McVitie's digestive biscuity sort of layer in there. In the dead centre of your palate, you've got that little circle where it's a more oily biscuity character. So yeah, the way that goes together is really, really quite nice actually. Maybe a little touch of Werther's original butter candy butterscotch in there, but that's very, very minimal. So that's the middle of your palate. The yeasty side of the beer at the back of your palate. That's at its core, it's like a slightly sweet brown bread, and then it's kind of white bread around that, a wee bit more wet, and then yeah, bread crusty. I'd say the yeast is one of one of the places this beer diverges a wee bit from what you'd find in Germany or Czech. But you know that's going to happen as the style's brewed elsewhere. But yeah, the malty and yeasty side of this one is really nice and comes across as quite original, I would say. Yeah, so let's go to the hoppy side of things then. So green component then, back corners of the palate, you've got a nice little bit of earthiness in there. As you move further forward, it's got a wee bit of like herbally character, and as you push further forward from that, it's a bit more floral and grassy around the kind of front curvy tone. The New Zealand hops, I think, in this are making it a bit more oily, so the green component comes across as quite wet, which is maybe why you're not feeling as much IBU, I would say. The Motueka in particular, I do suspect that's in here. Motueka in particular can be quite wet when you taste it. But yeah, let's focus on that front third of your palate and that fruity bubble, that oily bubble where the esters come out of the beer on the front tip of your tongue. Yeah, when you take this one in, lime, Motueka, pretty sure of it. I'll say that though and I'll be wrong, it happens. But yeah, at the back of that front third of your palate, there's a wee tiny touch of, it's almost like a wee tiny touch of grapefruit in there. Wonder if it could be the New Zealand Cascade. Obviously that's a bit different from the American one, but yeah. At the back of that front third palate, you're getting like this kind of oily pear, and then it becomes, well, maybe more dry apricot, and then it becomes more like oily peary as you reach the middle of that front third of your palate. It's a wee bit more like sultani on top of that, like dry white green grapes, raisins, white raisins, I guess some people call them. And as you go into the front half of the front third of your palate, it's gooseberry and a wee bit of lime, and then you get all the grassy esters. But yeah, flavour-wise, this is really nice. As I say, for me, it's a bit more Helles-like than Pilsner-like. It's not quite bitter enough, but maybe that's just the effects of the Kiwi hops, to be honest. But yeah, all in all, a nice lager. You can't ask for much more than that. Like I said, for me, this brewery is more known for their hazy IPAs, but still, good lager. Would enjoy this again. Mouthfeel-wise, it's kind of top-end light-bodied, I would say. Carbonation has a good degree of crispness to it, but like I say, it's a very clean, drinkable beer. I talked about how that is in Asia a little minute ago. IBU-wise, I think this is about 20. Pilsner's normally 30-ish. The malt base is a bit dry underneath, smooth in the middle, slightly sweet on top, and then yeah, you've got that lovely, more kind of oily, fruity character coming out of it. But all in all, very nice lager beer, this one. As I say, the Pilsner for me, it does feel a little bit more Helles-like, but still, I really like it, and yeah, enjoyed trying this one. Cool to try a lager from a brewery that I know for their IPAs. I like that when you try different styles from breweries that you know for different things. But yeah, this was the Frog Splash, 5.6% ABV. They've got quite a few beers on the menu, so probably this will be a bit of a longer video, but I'll catch you guys in a second with something else. Cheers. Alright guys, so a little look at what's on tap here then at Chillhops Itaewon project. So yeah, there's a good variety of stuff actually. So yeah, they've got the Gdaime Tropical Pale Ale, the Frog Splash New Zealand Pils, Hipster Lager, which is a low-calorie lager, Joy Juicy, which is an East Coast IPA sold out. That uses an interesting yeast apparently. There's the Juicinder Hazy IPA, Tropical Citrus IPA, the All Day Mate, which is one of their house beers, the regular IPA, Dirty Play Stout, which I might need to try a bit later. I've noticed as well that Chillhops have a lot more kind of sour beers and things like that these days. So you have the Cool Lime Mint, sounds quite interesting. The Oak Cream, double dry hop version, this one with cryo. A few versions of that, as you can see underneath the Soul version. How it goes, an Imperial Fruited Goza. Are You Nuts? Dessert Stout at 6.6% ABV. The Hops and Chill, lots of different versions of this one. This is Pomona apparently. Hops and Thrill, a New England Triple IPA, 10% ABV. The Ripa de Man Dead Imperial Stout at 10.3%. Then the Choco Mint Shake and the Cool Yin Yang Thrill, a beer cocktail. So yeah, that is your tap list then here at Chillhops Itaewon Beer on the 25th of January 2025. Nice mixture of stuff. Alright guys, well, time for tasting number 2 then here at Chillhops Itaewon project. Second attempt on this one because literally as soon as I started filming, old guy came out the door and went like, so yeah, There we go. Second attempt at this one. So yeah, for this review then, we are going to have a little look at the latest version of the beer that I originally tried from these guys. So at the time of filming, which is January 2025, this is the latest version of Hops and Chill. So yeah, this one comes in at 8.3% ABV, New England Hazy, Imperial Double, whatever you want to call it, IPA. And yeah, I have to say, it looks very nice. When it poured, it came out with just under a finger of a frothy kind of cream-coloured head. Faded away to be a thin foamy layer now though, because I was pissing about with the camera, but that's how it goes. But yeah, not much in the way of visible carbonation in this one. As I say, quite soupy and gloopy. The level of haze in these beers depends on oak content and wheat content, of course, and to a degree what yeast you use. But yeah, this is one of the soupier and gloopier New England hazies that I've come across at this ABV over the last little while. But yeah, looks pretty nice, this one. Colour-wise, I'd say it's kind of mango juice type colour. Yeah, pale kind of mix of mango, pineapple sort of juice colour. But yeah, remember, the colour of your beer depends on a few things. Type of malts that you use, that goes a long way to determining your EBC rating. Length of your wort boil is going to play a role. Longer you boil the wort, the more the sugars caramelise, and thus you get a darker colour of beer. But any barrel aging you do or adjuncts you put into the beer will affect its colour as well. And that can vary from brewery to brewery and beer to beer, of course. But you don't often have to care about those when it comes to different kinds of IPAs. But yeah, anyway. So, appearance-wise, nothing surprising about this beer when you consider what style it is. As I say, the latest version of Hops and Chill at the time of filming, January 2025, 8.3% New England Hazy Double IPA. Let's have a wee look at the nose on this one then and see what it has. Ooh, yeah. So, this gives you everything you want. You've got lovely, bright, tropical, juicy, fruity character, a little bit citrusy as well. And yeah, you've also got that lovely kind of... yeah, you've got a lovely bit of grassiness. The green component in this one is really, really very, very nice. And generally, as I've said, there's kind of 6 elements to think about when it comes to New England IPAs. You've got your kind of rye leaning grainy side of things and your sort of farmhousey yeasty type character. Those are more common in the New England brewed New England IPAs. As the style has moved away from there, though, it's different things you care about, like sort of barley malt bread, wheaty bitiness, oaty creaminess, and to a degree the sweeter side of things too. So yeah, for me, just smelling this one, this smells as if it's really nicely balanced between the barley malt, the wheat, and the oats. That's really what I'm getting out of this one. But yeah, for me, this one, it's got quite a little bit of wheaty character. You can smell the wheaty bitiness at the back of the nose. But remember, European wheat is definitely a bit more bitey than American wheat, which I think is smoother. And of course, Australian wheat is different soil profiles, water profiles, and all these sort of things affect the chemistry of the plant and thus the flavour, blah, 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 blah. But yeah, for me, this is slightly more wheaty leaning, but quite a bit of oat and barley in there as well, I have to say. But yeah, really nice smelling beer, this one. The backbone of it, fresh white bready bread crust, a little bit of wood, little bit of cracker. There's a wee touch of brown bread to this one, but mainly it's like a fluffy white bready character. There's a good little bit of wheaty bready note to this one as well. That you smell that more dense wheaty white bread in there. And like I say, at the back of the nose, it's quite a bit more bitey. The oaty side of this one is really nice. Very, very creamy, very smooth, and slightly sweet. As I've often said, when it comes to hazy IPAs, the oaty character of these can be quite a good indicator of how fresh your beer is. So yeah, for me, the oats in this one are really, really quite nice. Very, very creamy. There's a little bit of sweetness to this one, a bit of Werther's original butter candy butterscotch, and a wee bit of biscuit as well. But yeah, aroma-wise, this one is really, really nice. Yeah, this one is really, really lovely, actually. Yeah, sweet kind of caramelly note to it. You can get more of that, and more of that Werther's original butter candy sort of thing. Wee bit of biscuit, and of course all the bready notes I was talking about. The yeasty side of this beer, it's a little bit more kind of white bready, but there's a wee touch of like more grainy brown bread in there as well, actually. So yeah, really, really like that with this one. Hoppy side of this beer, it's actually got quite a pungent green component to it. But obviously it's very, very fresh. But remember, you have 3 types of hoppings in your IPAs. Early edition hopping, which takes place during the first hour of the wort boil, that gives you mainly bitterness and a deeper, danker green aroma. Late edition hopping, which takes place during the last half hour of the wort boil, that gives you a little bit of bitterness, mainly flavour and aroma, and very bright green component. Then you've got dry hopping, which takes place after the wort boil is complete, and that's all about flavour and aroma, and again, very bright green component. West Coast IPAs use all three, which is why they're deeper, danker, and more kind of oily. New England IPAs tend to rely on late edition and dry hopping, which is why they're softer and more kind of green and juicy, if you like. But yeah, for me, this one, the green component is actually quite pungent. There's a wee touch of earthiness in there, some really nice floral aromaticity, good little bit of zesty grassiness in there, and then of course it's all about the fruity side of things. So for me, fruity side of this one, good little bit of peachy sharpness to it, which makes me think Citra. But yeah, there's a little bit of peachiness in there. Lots of passion fruit actually, and big juicy mango. So Galaxy comes to mind for this one. There's pineapple as well, mango, apricot, Idaho 7. Could it be Idaho 7? Something very familiar about it. This one's definitely a bit more tropical leaning, but I think at the front of the nose there is a wee bit of an orangey character with this one. Could it be like Nectaron? Nectaron? I can never pronounce that one. Nectaron, maybe. Amarillo. No, not zesty enough for Amarillo. There's a good little bit of orangey character to this one, but yeah, peach. Lots of passion fruit, a juicier mango in there as well, softer apricot, wee bit of pineapple. And yeah, I want to see just a little bit of an orangey and maybe limey character out of this one. So yeah, aroma-wise, very, very nice beer, this one. I'm really curious to try this. So yeah, this is the January 2025 version of the Hops and Chill, one of the regular experimental IPAs here at Chillhops. So yeah, let's do this. Very curious about this. Yeah, Slàinte, Skål, cheers, Gambe.
Check that it's English. Yeah. And other admin stuff, it's very basic. Yeah,
it's nice. On first taste, a bit more barley malt leaning than I thought it was going to be. But then the oats and the wheat come out a little bit later on. It's actually a little bit more, it's actually got a little bit more of an American wheaty type note to it, this one as well, which is quite interesting. But yeah, you get a bit more bitiness out of the wheat later on. But yeah, very more a bready leaning, more a barley malt leaning New England IPA, this one, than ones that I've had in quite some time. It's actually quite light in its backbone compared to some others. But again, very, very nice. And as I say, this is a style this brewery is known for. So it gets a thumbs up from me. Yeah. So, backbone of the beer, fresh brown bready bread crust in there. Brown bready bread crust, like fresh wholemeal brown bread. Further forward, you've got a little bit of woodiness in there. Definitely a little bit of a kind of Jacob's cream cracker as well. Then above that, there's a layer of kind of wholemeal brown bready character. You get the graininess out of that into the aftertaste. Fluffy white bready barley malt character out of this one as well. And as I say, that kind of dominates the flavour for me. You've got a more dense wheaty note above that one, which I do really like.
It wouldn't stop ringing, and I kept hanging up on it because it was a unknown number. And it kept ringing.
So yeah, more dense, wheaty, white bready character above that. Then down the middle line of your palate, you can feel the nice creamy side of the oats, and it just dries out a wee bit as the oats go out toward the side of your palate there. In the dead centre of your palate, you've got a little circle in the middle of your palate where you get that Werther's Original butter candy, butterscotchy type thing. And yeah, the way that goes together is really, really nice. So it's not too sweet, this one. As I say, into the aftertaste, you start to get more of the kind of white bready notes and some of the graininess coming out of this one. But there's just a wee bit of like McVitie's digestive biscuits around that too. So you do get a little touch of sweetness. But I find this one's a bit more barley malt leaning than some of the other New England IPAs I've had recently. It's not too thick, this one, I would say that. They do have a triple IPA that I think we'll need to check out as well. I'm very curious about that. Hops and Thrill, it's called. But yeah, on the back third of your palate, and the yeasty side of things, at its core, I think the yeast is a little bit more sort of brown bready, which is interesting. So yeah, a wee bit of a kind of brown bready character in there. Surrounding that, you have a little bit more of surrounding that, You've got a wee bit more of kind of, I would say, like a sort of farmhousey white bready kind of character. Then it's the bread crust around the edge. But definitely, yeah, back third of your palate, the flavour's taller. And as you move further forward into the middle third of your tongue, it kind of condenses down and squashes together that little bit more. But again, very, very nice, I have to say. Yeah, so good stuff. On the hoppy side of things then, green component, a little bit earthy in the back corners of the palate. That makes me think Mosaic. That could be Mosaic responsible for the orangey side of this one. As you come further forward, you get a wee touch of a herbally note out of it, not too much. And then, yeah, pushing further forward from that, you've got some nice floral aromaticity in there. And round the front curve of your tongue, you've got some lighter grassy character to this one. So, yeah, a bit more of a kind of grassy zestiness coming out of this. But yeah, green component is a bit more pungent in the aroma than it is in the flavour, to be totally honest with you. So that's interesting. Yeah, fruity side of the beer. And as I always say, you get that nice oily bubble at the front, on the front curve of your tongue. For me, the fruity side of this beer, at the back of that front third of your palate, you get a nice little bit of sharper peach in there. There's a wee bit of a grapefruity note as well. Lovely big juicy mango. It's more mango-y actually, more mango-y and peachy in its flavour than it was in the aroma, I would say. You do get a bit of softer passion fruit into the aftertaste.
But if you're not living there, it's very easy to get out of it. I don't know how that works, but it's easy to get out. As long as you say like, "Well, I'm not there."
So this one for me,
it's packed.
The fruity side of things, yeah, as you reach the middle of that front third of your palate, it's got like there's a softer apricot-y note underneath. There's some juicy pineapple on top of it. But yeah, bit of peach, bit of mango. This passion fruit comes out later. You've got apricot, pineapple. And as you move into the front half of that front third of your palate, it's a little bit more sort of, it's a little bit more kind of orangey and tangerine if you like. Maybe a little bit of lime behind the front tip of your tongue too. So all in all, a really, really nice New England double IPA. This one very soft and very barley malt leaning, I would say, but it's quite interesting, I have to say. Mouthfeel wise for me, mid-body, top end of mid-body. This one actually drinks quite similarly to like a number of single IPAs that I've come across recently. But yeah, IBU wise, I think this is a fairly standard 30 IBU beer, this one. The malt was, like we said, it's a bit drier underneath, a bit smoother in the middle, and a bit sweeter on top. Lovely, juicy, fruity notes. So some quite soft and tropical, but a bit more oily and citrusy into the aftertaste. But all in all, once again, very, very nice from Chillhops project. So I think we'll be going for smaller beers after this one. I couldn't resist a pint of this because this was the new version of the first beer that I tried from these guys. So yeah, this one was the January 2025 version of the Hops and Chill, an 8.3% New England Hazy Imperial Double IPA. Let's leave it at that for this one, and I'll catch you guys in a second with something else. Cheers. Alright guys, so as you might have seen earlier on, they had some very nice Australian style bakery stuff, so I thought it was only fitting that we try this. So over here we have their sausage rolls, and then here we have the butter chicken pie. So yeah, of course I'm going to be a fat bastard and try both because why not? There you are, let's see what these are like. Right, so let's have a little look at this food then, because I'm very curious about this. So this is a sausage roll with quite a bit of bacon and garlic and butter and stuff like that in it. So it looks absolutely lovely. So let's just try it on its own first. I've missed a good sausage roll, honestly. I do miss the Scottish bakeries. So Aussie bakeries are, you know, just as good, but a little bit different. Oh, yeah. So on its own, it's very like sort of, it's very kind of herbal actually, this one. It's you can taste the bacon and the garlic and the onion in here. It's leaning toward that heavier side of the garlic, which I do really enjoy. I love a big garlic hit. Can't go wrong with too much garlic. But you can never go wrong. You can never have too much garlic is what I should say. But yeah, on its own raw form, it's really, really lovely. So let's try it with a bit of ketchup then.
What are you gonna have? I'll grab it here. Yeah. So you, I'll grab it. No.
So let's have a wee look at this.
We'll come in a barrel.
But yeah, with the ketchup, with the ketchup, it's actually really, really quite nice. Just adds that little bit of sharpness to the flavour, actually. So yeah, we'll have a wee look at the other sauce. I'm not sure what that is. It's like a chili mayo, actually. It just adds that little bit of spice to it, yeah. Yeah. With the chili mayo, that's really, really nice, actually. So, yeah, I would say if you get these sausage rolls, try it with that nice chili mayonnaise. Just look at the inside of that. It's lovely. Good quality sausage and things. Yeah. Yeah. I've seriously missed stuff like this. So, yeah, the sausage rolls really are worth trying out. So, let's have a look at this pie then. I'm very, very curious about this. So, just lift it up there. Look at the pastry on that. That's absolutely beautiful, I have to say. And, you know, Scotch pies are a little bit more stingy in terms of their pastry. The Aussie ones are a little bit more kind of fluffy and things like that. So, yeah, I'm quite curious. I'm really curious about this. Butter chicken is one of my favourite Indian curries. So, that was the reason I chose this one. They didn't have the chunky beef one. Because probably that would have been my first choice, actually. But yeah, as I say, I love my Indian food. I love my curry and things. So let's just see what we have here. Yeah, so you can see the inside of it. It's got that nice kind of saucy inside there. So let's just try it raw, actually.
Oh, here we go. It's bitten off more than
Oh yeah.
There was a slight miscommunication in the ordering.
That's lovely, actually. It just has that wee touch of spice and kind of just has that wee touch of spice to it and a wee bit of like creaminess. It's lovely. Yeah. Love a butter chicken. Very, very satisfied with this. This will soak up the beer for sure. So let's stick a wee bit of the ketchup on it and just see what that does. But personally, I would just eat this one as it is, to be honest with you. I really like that. Actually, in fairness, the ketchup kind of balances out the spicy bit more. The more you eat of this, the more spicy it gets. But yeah, these are homemade. I should have said that. The pies that you get here at Chillhops are properly homemade. So that's really, really quite nice. So yeah, very, very satisfied with what's on offer here. So yeah, that's a little quick look at the food that you can get here at Chillhops Itaewon project. There we go. Cheers. Alright guys, well, time for tasting number 3 then here at Chillhops Itaewon project in Seoul. So yeah, I noticed inside they had this lovely neon light with the kiwi and the koala, so I thought I'd come and try and film in front of it. The hop in the middle got a little bit lit up, I guess you could say, but this is the kind of best shot I was able to get playing around with the settings and things. Just hoping it's not too loud for this one, but we can of course use AI to tidy up the sound. But yeah, beer number 3, we're going to stick with a similar style to what we had in the last tasting. But yeah, this is another kind of regular series that this brewery do. So beer number 3 is called Hops and Thrill. This is their triple IPA series that they do. So they do one every month or so with different hops and things like that. So yeah, this particular version is called the Pomona version. So they do have it in can, and then they've got another version of hops and Thrill as well. But yeah, the last one we tried was really good. From what I was hearing, these guys use only Aussie malts and Aussie and Kiwi hops for the most part. So it's quite interesting. These beers are styles that we know, but for me at least, they've got just a different vibe to them. So it's always interesting to try things that will make you think a little bit about what you're actually drinking. So yeah, let's just see what this is going to have in store for us. But yeah, as you can see, this beer's poured a lovely sort of, I would say, kind of mango juice colour. When it came out, it had about a half finger of a frothy, I would have said, kind of white, creamy coloured head. 1 or 2 bubbles sticking to the side of the glass, but not too much visible carbonation. This one is pretty damn hazy as well. It's about the same as the double IPA, actually. So probably a lot of the haze in this beer is due to the yeast, because this one uses the same yeast as the Hops and Thrill, apparently. So yeah, it should be really quite nice, actually. So, yeah, don't know if there's much else to say about this one, but appearance-wise, this is pretty much what you would expect from a New England triple IPA. So, yeah, I think we could just have a wee look at the aroma of this one and see what it's all about. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Quite similar to what we had from the Hops and Chill. But this one is just that little bit more potent. And you can smell similar bready characteristics out of this one. Again, like I said, with the Hops and Chill, it comes across as being quite balanced between the wheaty and the oaty side of things. But for me, this one has a lot more oaty creaminess to it. But you do get this little bit of like a farmhousey, bready, crackery sort of thing underneath it. So yeah, the backbone of this beer is a lovely kind of wholemeal brown bready bread crust. Yeah, it gives you this sort of crackery, farmhousey, crackery vibe to it. So that's really interesting as well. Yeah, so brown bready bread crust in the backbone, a little bit of wood, a little bit of cracker as you often get. Definitely a bit of brown bready character and some graininess there too. Fluffy white bread. Like I say, you can smell a bit of wheaty bitiness in the back of the nose. The oaty, creamy character in this one I think is a little bit more prominent than it was before. But this beer isn't overly sweet. There is a little bit of that Werther's original butter candy, butterscotchy type thing. But yeah, it's not overly sweet, I would say. The yeasty side of this one's a bit more kind of farmhousey and brown bready as well. So I quite like that, I have to say. So yeah, the way that goes together, I have to say, is really, really nice. But yeah, the yeasty side of this one more white bready and wheaty kind of leaning, like I said. But yeah, I don't know if there's too much else to say about the malty side of this one. So yeah, let's have a wee look at the hoppy side of things. So for me, hoppy side of this beer, very grassy leaning for sure. Very grassy and quite floral. There's a wee bit of earthiness in there, wee bit of woodiness, wee bit of herbal character. But yeah, nice big floral aromaticity, some nice zesty grassiness in there as well. And yeah, that comes out of this one really, really nicely. Yeah, green component is exactly what you'd expect in this one. And I think it's pellets that are mainly in this one because it does have that bit of pungency. The fruity side of the beer, very soft and very chocolate. Maybe smells like a bit of Idaho 7 in this one. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a little bit like Galaxy and Victoria's Secret and stuff that's in here. But yeah, there's a little bit of a peachy note to it. Big juicy mango, soft apricot, good little bit of like pineapple-y note in there as well. And this one for me, I do get a little bit of orange, but also a little bit of a limey character out of this one. So yeah, the way that all of this goes together is quite nice, but I think it's quite similar to what we had with the Hops and Chill actually. But yeah, as I say, I know this brewery for the hazy, so I was quite curious to try something a little bit stronger. And obviously we went for the smaller size this time. So yeah, let's just have a taste of this one then and see what it's all about. So this is the latest edition, Pomona edition of Hops and Thrill, 10% New England Hazy Imperial Triple IPA. Our third one here at Chillhops. Slange, Skål, cheers.
Like the fan, they believe it's the fan, they need to call it fan now. And they were like, fan.
Yeah. This one, again, it's quite similar in the vibe because it's using the same yeast and things like that. I find this one just a little bit smoother, more white bready leaning, more oaty. And then it's got, I find this one a little bit smoother actually. a little bit more. I like this one a little bit better than I did the other one. So yeah, not just because it's higher in alcohol, but I will say this, for a 10% IPA, this one hides its alcohol very, very well actually. So yeah, the way this one goes, really, really damn nice. Yeah, so for me then, backbone of this beer, lovely. I will say this one's got a bit more oatiness to it than the last one. The last one came across as being a bit more kind of yeasty and farmhousey than yeah, the backbone of the beer. You've got a lovely little bit of a kind of brown bready bread crust underneath. So a little bit of brown bready bread crust in there. A little bit of wood and a little bit of cracker, of course. Some brown bready character. The brown bready character actually comes out of this one a bit more into the aftertaste as well. So it really, a lot of that comes out, which is quite nice. But yeah, yeah, for me, put the brown bread in there, the white bread, a more dense, wheaty sort of character to this one. You can feel that more dense, wheaty white bread. Then the oats, I think this one also leans a bit more towards its wheaty side of things. But the oats go down the middle line of your palate and they're lovely and smooth and creamy. It's just a little bit drier over toward the, it's just a little bit drier over toward the edge of the palate there. And then you get that little circle in the middle of your palate where there's the World's Original Butter Candy Butterscotch, and that is, of course, the boozy side of the beer. A wee bit of biscuit mixed into that as well, which is nice. Yeah, if you go into the back third of your palate, you get all these bready flavours that we often talk about, but then above everything else, you get the yeasty side of the beer. So let's have a wee look at that yeasty side of things. So yeah, the yeasty side of this one again, it feels like it's kind of grainy and brown bready at its core. And as you move further out from it, it's a bit more kind of white bready and a bit more dense. And then, yeah, you've got a little bit more of that kind of bread crusty type character around the very edge of it. So yeah, I really like how that goes together. So yeah, definitely the way that everything pieces together in that regard, I think, is very, very nice. So it's a big thumbs up from me. But yeah, so yeah, the malty used to say this one is quite nice, but it's kind of interesting to see it's more kind of grainy and almost kind of farmhousey into the aftertaste actually. But yeah, so let's have a wee look at the hoppy side of things in this one then. So back corners of your palate, wee bit of earthiness for sure. Makes me think mosaic. As you move further forward, you get a wee touch of pine resin out of this one. And yeah, as you push further forward towards the kind of front corners of your palate, it's definitely more floral and more kind of spicy in a sense as well. So yeah, all of that pieces together I think is quite nice. Around the front curve of the tongue, it's a little bit lighter and more grassy, I would say, wee touch zesty. Then you've got all the fruity things in there as well. So that oily bubble comes out of the front third of your palate, as I always say. At the back of that front third of your palate, there's a wee bit more of a kind of peachy sort of thing. Lovely bit of passion fruit as well, but juicy mango sitting on top of that. As you reach the middle of that front third of your palate, it's like soft and apricot underneath, a bit of pineapple on top of that. Then yeah, into the front, half of that, into the front half of that front third of your palate. It's a little bit more orangey and tangerine, I would say. So yeah, a little bit of limey character there, just mixing in with the grassy esters too. So yeah, the way that goes together, I think, is really, really nice with this one. So yeah, the fruity side of this beer, I think, is good. But yeah, I like that with this one. It's a nice New England triple IPA, this, and it's very easy to drink. It's a bit dangerously easy to drink. Let's round off with a wee look at the mouthfeel now. I just find this one a wee bit smoother than the other one actually as well, which is interesting. But yeah, mouthfeel wise, Top end of mint bodied, bottom end of full bodied, smooth carbonation. Again, it feels very, very clean. You've got a nice smooth kind of bready character in there, a wee bit of graininess as well. Little touch of creaminess and sweetness out in this one, but still drier into the aftertaste. The IBU count on this one, I think, is maybe about 40-ish. Feels that little bit more. That's what you'd expect with it being a triple IPA rather than a double. Then yeah, you've got that lovely juicy fruity note out of this one, which is kind of zesty in a way as well. Yeah, soft and tropical overall. But yeah, really, really nice. Nice beer, this one. I'm glad I got to try one of these too. So yeah, I think we can leave it at that for this review. So yeah, let's leave it at that for this one. This one was the Pomona version of the Hops and Thrill from January 2025. Let's leave it there and we'll see what else we can come up with in a second. Catch you soon. Yeah, guys, so as with any good craft beer venue, they've got a bunch of cans and things that you can take away. So let's have a little look at what they have here. So yeah, they have the Cool Lime Mint. Sounds very interesting. How it goes, their Imperial Goza. I think that one was with blackcurrant and pineapple, if I'm not mistaken. They have the Frog Splash, which is their New Zealand Pilsner. The G'day which is their House Pale Ale. The Hipster Lager down here, which is a low-calorie lager. I'm hearing that one. They do a lot of back malting with that, just to give it a bit more flavour. Then over here, they have the Oat Cream Cryo. And that's down here as well. Fresh batch. Then the latest version of Chillhops, the New England Double IPA. Juicinder, which is one of their regulars. Tropicool, Citrus IPA. The All Day Mate, which is their kind of house IPA. Joy Juice, which sounded quite interesting. An East Coast IPA, this one. Dirty Play, which is, I think, their regular stout. And if you come over here, they've got a few different versions of hops and Thrill, actually. So yeah, this one, the Brewer's Pick, the green version. Then over here, the Pomona version. But yeah, both 10% ABV. RU Nux, which is their dessert stout. Then over here, they've got Rippa the Madman, which apparently was their first ever beer. And apparently, the bottles that they have in here are 5 years old. So they've been put aside and aged for quite a little while. So I have to say, that is pretty cool. But yeah, that is your beer fridge here at Chillhops Itaewon project. So there you go. Alright guys, so just another little cool thing here at Chillhops Itaewon project as well. You can see they're watching the office as well. But this wall is quite interesting. So yeah, if you come over here, you can see they've got a bunch of different t-shirts and things like that from the brewery. You can see this one here, Chillhops Brewing Company. You've got your koala and kiwi and stuff like that. Yeah, these are quite nice. I've got things in both hands, so can't really show you those in more detail. If you come over here, they've got different glasses and things like that as well. So yeah, these are quite nice too. If I remember correctly, 10,000 Korean won is about 50 Hong Kong dollars, something like that. So £5 sterling, $6 American. Sorry, 7. All right, guys. Well, this happens every so often, and it's always cool when it does. But when I walked into Chillhops, this guy here was sat in the kind of beer garden. I was like, I know you, and it's because my original Chillhops video I did shows up when you search for Chillhops on Google. So this is Nick Lennon, one of the founders of Chillhops Brewing. So yeah, Nick, nice to actually do a little meet the brewer thing with you as well.
Yeah, thank you. I couldn't help it because I actually did recognize him. So it comes up on our Google page, like about 5 down, and every time I update it, your face was on it. So I was like, well, I think I know this guy. So I had to say hi because, like, you know, I don't know, most people come on.
Well, that's, and I think you had said, like, so you can update me a bit on this better, but the brewery was originally based in a town south of Seoul, if I remember right. And you've moved, is the production still there and you've moved up to Seoul? Or?
So the production is still down south. So country boy at heart. I love the countryside, and Korea, like most countries, has a countryside. We're not just all based in Seoul.
Yeah.
We're not just all pali, which means fast. We actually like to relax here too. And yeah, the production side is still 2 hours south from here. So this morning I came up because we've got an Aussie event today, and we came up about 6 o'clock to beat the traffic because it's Lunar New Year. So it's Chinese, Korean, Asian.
So, yeah, that's kind of why I made it over here as well.
Yeah, and so we have and again we have the pub up here because we got a bit of a following. We're one of the most, I guess, extreme craft breweries. Thanks for coming, guys. One of the most extreme craft breweries is, and we throw everything in there in our beers. So we've got a lot of different beers. Like we've got some today.
So as we were doing this, we're going to drink it. This is the oat cream.
Yeah, cheers.
Slander.
So this is
That's good.
a sweetish IPA. So probably, actually, we were one of the first to do an oat cream. So we always try to look outside our industry to recreate a beer here. And also being in the countryside, we look at like fruits and stuff like that. So we always try and look at throwing something different into the beer. And oat cream's got really popular in America. And Australia.
Europe as well, actually, yeah.
Yeah, and so when that happened, we thought, okay, we'll make one here. So that's how this came about, and that's how basically all our beers came about.
Yeah. So let's go back to the business. So I discovered Chillhops last year, just when I moved to Hong Kong, and there was a bunch of Korean beers had made it over there. Chillhops was one of the breweries, so I thought, oh, Korean beer. When I came to Korea back in 2019, you could pretty much only buy the beers at the brewery, and it was, Galmegi, Gorilla, Wild Wave, Mr. Lee here in Seoul as well. So I think you guys were founded 2018 or so, if I remember, something like that.
So I moved over here 2016, moving from Australia as a Kiwi Aussie, and actually I applied for a job at Gorilla. They're my good friends. Actually, one of them rocked up today.
Yeah,
they're my good mates, and kind of that's the industry. Galmegi as well. They're also good mates. One of them is Scottish.
Oh yeah, no, I remember him. Yeah, I remember.
He's a good guy. He's very good. And it was a pretty tight knit community, but everyone was doing their slightly different things. So you had Magpie, who was run by a Canadian, but it was more like image based. So that he's a designer. I believe he's a designer, like in clothes and stuff like that. And it was more marketing based, and they did your sort of, back in the day, they did basic beers, but they looked extreme to normal people, but to craft brewers, it was just kind of like, oh, this is...
It's the kind of gateway beer.
Yeah, they were good. They were good. It was probably the only beer I liked of the first breweries that were in Korea. I'm not gonna, sorry if I offend anyone there, but it was like the one thing that I would be like really excited to try. And then just after they happened, Galmegi and Gorilla came out. Galmegi just before. Oh, my favorite beer was the Galmegi Mosaic IPA. And then when I saw it was just in one place when I came over here. So I used to just holiday in Korea, and I tried that, and I wanted to bring something from my background to Korea. So I was brewing back in Australia, and yeah, I wanted to bring it here. So we started off with Kiwi hops. I think we were the first to import directly. We got in trouble for it because we're not big enough. We didn't have a lot of manpower to do it. And then we organized the first ever Australian shipment of malt to craft breweries. So we were very lucky. We came in just at that time, and then we've held to that. So this oat cream that we have, it has New Zealand hops, also Galaxy a little bit, because Galaxy is quite expensive now, hard to get. But yeah, so we use oats from Australia, we use malts from Australia.
Yeah. I mean, so we were chatting a little bit about this off camera. I was saying about how European oats are a bit more creamy, the American ones are a bit more porridgey, European wheat's a bit more bitey. American wheat's a bit smoother. And obviously in Asia, you've got Australia down there as well, which is a huge agricultural producer. So when I taste your beers, to me, they're a bit more like, with the point of reference I have, which is mainly European, I guess. I would always say, oh, this is quite like a farmhousey, almost yeasty type of hazy IPA. Because, like I said, when I first moved to Hong Kong, which would have been like late summer 2023, yeah, there was your beers and a bunch of other ones from Korea, like Amazing Brewing, Seoul Brewing were there. There's a few others too. So yeah, if you're watching from Europe, probably you'll find these beers a bit more like woody, crackly, like farmhousey, bready. I think. Is the way I would describe it. Yeah.
I guess it's just when you're in Asia and you find something from your homeland that you can actually access, especially after COVID, you get quite touched by it and you just really want to push it further and further. And so I love hoppy beers, but I want to put as much Aussie malts as we can.
Oh yeah.
Because, that's farmers, and being from a country background, you've got to help your farmers first before you go further.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I'm not actually someone who buys. I don't eat fast food, so I don't eat it as franchise. I never eat franchise food.
Oh yeah.
But that's just me. Everyone can do what they want.
I have to admit, that's the thing in Korea. I always like a little bit of mum's touch and things like that. So yeah, like these kind of things are always like, you always get little things like this that you miss from home. I can understand that for sure.
Yeah, and we've tried really hard to keep New Zealand hops here. It's been really hard. We've had the hop growers come over. We've had the malt growers. We actually had the biggest Australian malt company come not that long ago. They were lucky enough to stop by here because they got a contract in Japan, and just stopping by and saying hi, and we're just asking how they're going. And we just tell them, like, every time we use Australian malts, we tell, if any brewery ever asks us, what do you use? We always say what we use, because we're so proud of it. We're not on the back of our cans it says Aussie malts, and we can't be any more proud of that. And I think that's just heritage. It's the same as probably being Scottish, like whiskey.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, Scottish malt is famous as well, the peated malts, and quite a few of the brewers at home, like Broughton and Williams Brothers and stuff, they try and use the local malts. But obviously, we don't produce hops, which is the other thing. So yeah, using local as much as you can is pretty good as well. So
that's the other thing. We're trying to move as quickly as possible into Korean products. So in terms of fruits, so we're doing a lot of gozes and sours now, and we just got one. I've got to go back to the brewery tomorrow. So it's Lunar New Year, and my wife's a bit annoyed that we're meant to be on holiday, but we were lucky enough to get some strawberries, a lot of strawberries. So, and I don't know if anyone knows how to use strawberries, but you've got to be very quick.
Oh yeah.
They do change very fast, and so I've got just a
truckload of
strawberries came in, and all my team is on holiday, and I can't ask them to come back because this is the only time you get to see family in Korea. So I'm going to go back there tomorrow to brew a beer.
The life of
sounds horrible, but it's not that bad. It's okay, but like, yeah, when you use like fruits and produce, you got to be you can cheat in a way. You could possibly freeze them and do whatnot, or you can just try to get the best out of them and put them in. People might not notice the difference, but you want to feel like there's a difference there.
Yeah.
So
that's it. There's a lot of breweries are playing this, because I remember reading it was one of the breweries, I forget which one it was, that the guy behind that brewery, who he wrote for a magazine and ran a blog, and he was quite instrumental in getting the laws changed in Korea so that you could have fruit beers and things here. I forget which brewery that was.
I'm pretty sure it was Playground, because I think it was Playground. Actually, we kind of went over when we first started, so we put quite a bit of fruit, and we got away with it. So we worked out. So the reason why our sours got quite popular. We worked out it was the weight of the fruit. So we started to do fruit tea.
Oh, okay.
So our sours originally are fruit tea. So we didn't actually add fruit, because the weight of fruit tea was nothing. So we would put tea into the beer, and you would sour it. So we'd kettle sour it, because that's the only thing you could do with fruit tea at the time. Kettle sour it because you had to add it during boil. That was the the rule, I think, anyway, we didn't really understand it. No one really understood it. So we put fruit tea in. No one knew how our beers were so fruity. And they would try to get us in trouble. They're like, oh, Chillhops been adding too much fruit. We weren't. But we didn't want to give away that secret at the time because we were selling out of all these beers and they were very fruity. They were fruity. And we were getting wild organic berry fruit tea from Germany, which we accidentally got from the Winter Olympics. Oh, because they had to offload all this fruit tea that didn't sell from the Winter Olympics. So we bought I think it was about, it would have been about 300 kilos, which is huge. It's a whole container of fruit tea. And so we'd add all this fruit tea. And then in the fermenter, we just had 10 kilos of a berry, and that was it. That's all we added. And it was fruity. And it was our most popular. That was Fizzy Dizzy, which is our most popular
Nice.
sour beer.
That's interesting because when I've read about the Korean beer scene, like I said, when I came to Korea in 2019, you could pretty much only get the beers at the breweries themselves, and from what people were telling me then, there was no cold chain, so that's why beer didn't really move around very much. But in the 5 years since, it seems there's been a collective effort by breweries like you guys and others, like Playground, amazing, I think, did some stuff as well to try and get the laws changed, and now it's a lot freer in terms of producing beer in Korea.
Yeah, there's also an association here that has pushed a lot. You've got monopoly in most countries with certain areas, and you've got it here too. Nobody really wants, at the end of the day, nobody really wants their money eaten away in whatever industry you are, because there's a lot of people who are employed, so you can't hate on that. There's a lot of people employed in the bigger breweries. But yeah, it was pretty, we say mafiosa kind of ish here. But to be honest, it's not as bad as some places. I've heard Thailand is.
Oh yeah, they've only just changed the laws and stuff there. Yeah.
We couldn't have opened in Thailand. And then you've got Australia. Although there is a lot of craft breweries in Australia, it's very monopolized compared to even here. We just have a few big brands, and that's about
Hita and stuff like that. Yeah. But it's interesting. I mean, it's interesting to see now the craft beer bug is creeping into more and more countries, and Korea was an interesting one for me, having seen the Japanese beer scene expanding, growing, and Korea's kind of come along behind that as well. So so if we go back to tell the story of Chillhops a wee bit then. So going back to, you told me before you were in the army originally.
Yeah.
So where did your kind of craft beer interest sort of start then?
Probably from my uncle. Being Kiwis, everybody homebrewed, and you have in New Zealand, you have malt and hops always available, and you go to Australia and there's some pretty basic lagers, some pretty basic beers, and you want something. We've got double brown in New Zealand. You want something a bit bigger.
Yeah.
And so with the prices, Kiwis don't want to pay too much. So, and then, so I watched that, and I remember being in, we've got a bottle shop called Dan Murphy's.
Oh, yes.
I
know Dan Murphy's,
It's basically, we thought it was like catalog for beer, basically, back in the day. And I used to just love reading different beers. I remember reading the first time I ever saw Spitfire.
Oh yeah.
So that was one of the first beers I ever picked up. And the other thing was there was some old Stoke beers, and it's a New Zealand brewery, the kind of craft dish, and they had these bombers, and had Nelson on one of them, and it was like a pale ale and lager, and I remember opening them because they were quite cheap. Because I'm still. Sorry, there's just someone in the background. It's all good. Still quite young, and it was cheap beer, but it was tasty beer. And Dan Murphy straight away put up the price because they saw I was coming in and buying it all. Probably not. It's probably somebody else. Probably some other reason, but it was tasty. So that was I was only 18, 19. So I just got that bug, and then I remember my uncle brewed, and then just tried it.
Went down from there, and then you ended up in Korea in 2016, and that was Chillhops. So can you tell us a wee bit about
this, like what got Chillhops started and how that kind of progressed from there.
It started. So my wife is Korean, so that probably starts everything off because we are in Korea. Just I wanted to make some interesting beer. I just wanted to make something different than what was already on offer, and yeah, I enjoy it.
Yeah. So you had the like me, like the nerdy interest to do it, but you went and made it. I made the videos about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So because you told me originally that you were founded by a Kiwi guy and an Australian guy, but so obviously you're the founder that's left now.
Yeah. So had a mate who's Kiwi. Obviously I'm Kiwi Aussie, but like he wanted to be a little bit a part of it, but didn't want to be fully a part of it. So, he left and he just had another job. So, and we were quite small then, so it wasn't.
Just in the early days. So.
Yeah, so it's just he wasn't a brewer, didn't know much about beer. He was just
wanted to be part of the
just wanted to hang out at the pub. I think.
Yeah.
So, he wanted to pour beers and so.
That was that. But now, so you're now the kind of main man behind the brewery, and it's kind of your baby. You've grown it up and things like that.
Yeah. So for the last probably so that he was only there for the first year, and then it's just been my wife and myself. So obviously we've got a good team and whatever behind us. So we're still quite small. We tried to go big, but COVID.
Yeah, so
It's probably didn't really help too much. So we've sort of calmed that down a little bit. And if we were to go bigger again, we still want to focus. The thing is, we want to focus on good beers. We don't want to sit big and then lose all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's I guess it's kind of that balance between having some beers that are kind of cash cows, like that allow you to fund the more interesting things. I think that's the big battle for craft breweries these days. But just for context, how much are you producing a year roughly?
So in a month, we probably produce. We do it by months because in Korea you've got winter. It's quite strong, so I don't usually use yearly. So we do weekly. We do about 2,000 liters. So a month we do about 8. So and then. I mean, it basically caps off at 80,000 a year because a few months we just don't do much.
Yeah.
So in those last few months, we'll think about blending different beers and what beers we'll do.
Do your sours and stuff.
Yeah. So
interesting. So is that something? I mean, obviously, as I say, I know Chillhops for the hazy IPAs. That was what appeared in Hong Kong. And you've obviously got some fruity gozes and stuff like this now, the lagers there. But are you planning to do sort of barrel programs and stuff?
So we've done, we've got, as you can see, actually the camera's on a barrel. We have barrels. We bought quite a few whiskey barrels, bourbon barrels. We've done quite a few barrel releases. We've done my favorite one was just a normal stout barrel.
Well looked after.
Yeah. But yeah, not too much. It's not. I'm not that interested in that sort of area. It's not. We're more interested in beers that are fresh and
more the drinkable,
sort
of sessionable types.
I'm more interested in new flavors we can add into a beer rather than flavors you can preserve and change into a beer later on, which doesn't make sense. We're going to find beer.
Yeah. I mean, is it fair to say then that Chillhops is kind of focusing on the sort of drinkable part of the spectrum, the sessionable part?
Yeah, and we see that's what the market is in Korea. You can buy some pretty expensive alcohol and there's more and more because once you age alcohol, there's more and more available that you can choose from. So, and the barrel beers I've tried, they're fantastic, but I feel like there's a lot of people doing that, so it's not really.
It's not so unusual, I guess.
It could just be that I don't find it. I'm not that passionate about it. We've put some beers. So we did a double blended. We did whiskey barrel, and we actually chose certain barrels that we moved across to. So we did whiskey for 6 months, and we did, and the whiskey was spicy rye.
Oh, right.
And then we moved it to a bourbon barrel that was vanilla caramel. and we moved it. And eventually, by the time we bottled it, it was fantastic. Well, we got barely any amount, so like everyone's like, "This beer is fantastic." I'm like, "Oh, unless we can do 100 barrels, I really don't want to be touching it too much because we lost so much percentage of beer by the time it just kept moving across."
Oh, yeah.
And then also like the little droplets that were just going everywhere. Like, oh, there's
So
a
good,
lot
but
of
it's
beer.
only-
That's a lot of good beer lost. So, and maybe that could be it as well. Like just watching that process and knowing how much gets lost. So sometimes when you do get if anyone's out there and you get bourbon barrel aged beer, just remember that brewer lost a lot of volume.
I've heard some horror stories of big beers being lost on transfers
Yeah,
and things.
they've tried their hardest, and
Yeah, that's it. But yeah, no. Anything else cool you'd want to tell us about Chillhops then?
not really. Just try to enjoy the beers. Like yeah, just the Aussie Kiwi spirit is what we are about. And if you ever come to Korea and you want to try something, reach out to us. We even tell you which other breweries to drink as well. There's some good ones around here. Like I'm pretty sure I think this is one of the best countries to live in.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm here exploring at the moment. Because, as I say, encountered it 2019. Things have moved on a lot since then. So I'll be asking for your tips a bit later of where else to go and visit. But yeah, let's leave it at that for this wee segment. I'm not sure whether I'll include this in the out and about video or I'll make it maybe a separate Meet the Brewer kind of thing. But big thank you to Nick for doing another wee interview thing with us. And we have a bit of a beast to try, so that one will definitely appear in the out and about video. So yeah, we'll catch you guys in a wee second, I guess. Cheers just now, and I'll put all the links obviously below to Chillhops social media and website and all this stuff. So let's say reach out to these guys and come and visit here in Itaewon.
So we are in the heart of Seoul, so we call this the heart. This is the melting pot of Seoul.
It looks, I mean, there's lots of little restaurants and cool places around. So this is somewhere you do need to come and explore for sure. And it's on a hill. You get to watch the world going by. It's great.
And in summer, it's good exercise.
Oh yeah, for sure. But yeah, let's leave this section at that, and we'll go on and try the Beast beer. Catch you guys. All right, guys. Well, for this last tasting, I think it probably will be the last tasting unless I go back in and try one of the fruit sours, which is possible because I'm curious about those. Nick very kindly pulled something out of the fridge, which will be a little bit of a monster. So, yeah, do you want to introduce this one?
Yeah, so this is Ripper the Madman. So back in the day when we got on the calendar of Korea as being one of the better craft breweries, we did stouts. And we put it on cacao, cinnamon, vanilla, lactose, a little bit of lactose, not too much in early days because people didn't really want to drink lactose back then, and coffee. And our first batch that got really popular, we put 50 bottles away for 5 years, and this is one of them. So there's only 50 bottles that are 5 years old. So
Pretty damn special.
yeah, we made about 6 or 7 batches after that. So this is literally the oldest batch we have in Korea of any of our beers that we ever will have, I think.
So is it one batch a year you do this, mate?
Yeah, we do about 1 batch a year. We've missed maybe 1 or 2 years, but yeah, we've got about we've missed maybe 1 year, I think. So it would be about 6 after this.
Oh, okay. Well, you can see they've put a little pull tab on this one, which I have to compliment them on because wax bottles, especially for making videos, it's a pain in the arse. You've got to get the old Victorinox out and cut the thing. So I'll let you show me the proper technique as to how to.
Well, jeez, I hope now it's really cold here, so
There you go.
we've pulled it here, and it goes all the way around. There's your
Easy
wax
peasy.
off. And
That's pretty good.
yeah, hopefully we've had 10 bottles open so far, so we'll see how this one goes. Sounds all right. That's good.
And it was
Bit of CO2 out of there.
and it was 10% odd.
10.2, 10.3.
Okay.
So we're hoping for there should be a little bit of that umami soy sauce, and then hopefully a smoothness from chocolate malts, etc. So there's still head on it.
So yeah, you can see that lovely dark ebony rosewood color, kind of quarter finger of. Say that's like kind of medium tan head. That not too dark, but yeah.
But it's lasting. I think the fact that being so long and with caramelized malts, same as when you have like Guinness, it actually, although that's on nitrogen, when you caramelize malts, they actually give more head based on how they're caramelized. So when you've got like a lager or a lager pilsner, it will give less head retention. Just because of the malts. When you caramelize a malt, it actually provides that smoothie head.
See, I always thought with stouts it was the wheat. If you put a bit of wheat in the stout, it gives you a bit more head.
It does, but longer lasting is actually the caramelization of the malts. So that's why you still have this. Like if you did a lager for this long, I don't think it would still have that.
Oh, interesting. Let's do the nose then. Let's see. Oh yeah. So it's like the bread. It's like quite. It's almost like, for me, like British Christmas pudding.
Yeah, it's very blended. So like a lot of the flavors. So when we first did this batch, I'm trying to remember back then, but you would get a lot of that chocolate and coffee straight up, but it's almost like very blended now.
Yeah, I mean, this one really is like, I mean, my dad loved Christmas pudding, like English Christmas pudding, so my mum used to make him that for his birthday in February. Pardon me. And the aroma, this really reminds me of that. Like, it's like raisins, plums, black currants, blackberries rather. Berries are sharper than currants, I think. You get those big fruity notes in the beginning.
Actually, I have to admit, back in when this was made, there was more malt varieties available. They use in like wholesale malts. So when we first did this, we had about 12 different malts in this beer. So we had a lot more malts than what we would do now. Now we sort of, as you said, like, put wheat in. We substitute a little bit more, and we put less caramel malts than what we used to put like 3 or 4 different caramel malts. Now we put like maybe 2. So this has a bit more of an array of malts involved in the process. Just with the times, it's harder to, like, the malt price went insanely up. So yeah, we haven't had that opportunity to put that many malts in a beer.
So is this one still all Aussie malts, or is there some the caramel malts?
Yeah, there's
German.
Actually, there's quite a lot of malts in this. There'd be a few British malts. There'd be some German malts. There'd be there's still roasted barley from Australia. Chocolate would be German. Probably Carafa.
Oh yeah, that's
going back.
Bamberg, yeah.
Bit of Veerman. Maybe best malts as well. Some caramel malts from there, and then British malts. We were very lucky to get Thomas Fawcett.
Oh, okay, nice.
So yeah, we've got a few of those. Yeah, pale chocolate would be in there as well from them. And then wheat, Australian, pale ale, Australian. Probably the oats that we use in this, I'd like to think they're Australian, but I can't fully remember. It's quite a while ago.
Oh yeah, no, I can imagine asking you very, very tender questions. Yeah, but for me, aroma-wise, like, it's the English Christmas pudding, toasty well-fire bread crust, there's a bit of rye bread, that big caramelised Christmas pudding, like treacle, molasses. There's a wee bit of nuttiness to it, not overly much.
It's still quite cold. So it's not as, I don't get huge aromas as what I would get if it was warmed up a bit.
Yeah, I mean, I have to admit, I don't get the chocolate and the coffee out of it.
Which is good, because when we first released this, the coffee and the chocolate was very strong, like in-your-face strong.
It still has, the interesting thing I find about a lot of these beers is it's still got quite a bit of earthy and floral and grassy note to it, so there's still a wee bit of the hop in there.
Yeah, lucky the way that we bottled this, we kept that, because you can see with the carbonation, I've been drinking this and it's still lasting. We were very lucky back in the day. We used to, probably the only one in Korea, probably will be the only one ever in Korea, we used to use Pacific Jade.
Oh, I remember that, yeah.
So that was my favorite hop to ever put in a dark beer. And it gives a bit of earthiness with a tiny bit of floral grassiness, but it's just the best backdrop. I remember everyone always like, use Chinook, use Magnum, use this.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, no, I'm happy with this Pacific Jade.
Because Williamette was a very popular as well, because of the things, and it's Northern Brewer, and
we've used Williamette William it, but it never gave that amount of earthiness that we wanted. Pacific Jade really lifted that.
Because if you take the aroma in really deeply, you get that earthiness. And it's so I get grassy.
And it's from the hop.
Yeah.
It's actually from the hop. So the one thing I've learned through brewing is how long New Zealand hops last.
Oh yeah.
They last probably longer than Australian hops that we've had. So like we've used a lot of Australian hops, we've used American hops, but New Zealand hops just last. They just last forever.
It's the honey oil. Is it the myrcene oil? It's
Well, there's all different compounds that apparently lends to it, because they've even got in YCH has done a study about American hops and how long they last and which hop lasts the longest. And they've got like, which for most brewers, Centennials, quite long lasting. The other one, the name at the moment, it's not a very popular one, but like the longest lasting one is, I can't remember the name, but it's not very widely used.
Yeah.
But Pacific Jade, New Zealand hops, they just.
I've not even tasted this one yet, so let's.
Sorry, I've only had a few mouthfuls.
It's all good. It's all good. Kind of how it goes. It's quite irresistible, that, but beautiful smelling beer. Oh, yeah. Again, this is the thing I always find interesting with trying Asian beers. I always find Asian beers quite wet, and the focus is more on like the aftertaste rather than the kind of impact flavor. And this one's kind of like that. You get all the flavors that you kind of expect in the aftertaste, and then more and more of them kind of creep out as time goes on.
It's very layered. There was a lot of ingredients put in this beer.
To me, like if I was trying this one, fresh palate and everything like this, I'd be like, oh yeah, it's like an old school RIX, very clean.
This is not new school. Like there's nothing. Back in the day, we put, I think for 1,000 liters, we put about 10 kilograms of lactose, like barely any. It definitely didn't last. I'm pretty sure it just sits on the bottom.
Is that
like,
you're saying?
It's 5 years, right? So I don't know if you can see that, but 5 years, it's just in the bottom.
Oh yeah. Well, it's lovely anyway. I mean, it's very smooth, and it's sort of a mix between being very clean but also quite slick. The backbone of the beer for me, you've got like this roasty, toasty, well-fired thing. A wee bit further forward, you get a wee bit of like woodiness out of it.
Yeah. Oh, that's the other thing. Pacific Jade gives a good woodiness. So that was one thing that we really wanted, because like when I think of woodiness, I think of brown ales.
Oh yeah. No, I can see that. I can see that.
Good brown ale to me was with a bit of woodiness, and this is what.
I always enjoyed Brooklyn Brown back in the day. Always enjoyed that.
So for me, it was a bit of a more simple beer, but like Northern Brown.
Oh, okay.
But the original recipe, not the one that they changed to
I see.
have a little bit of maple syrup. I don't know what they changed in it, but it didn't taste the same.
I mean, this for me as well. I mean, you've got that roasted, toasty, well-fired bread crust, like the woodiness. There's like a wee bit of cracker, then it's got like a sort of dry rye bready layer, then like a more kind of sweet wholemeal bready note, and then it's almost like a chocolate muffin. And like in the chocolate muffin, you get like a wee bit of nuttiness. Then I think the cacao nib comes out like a kind of, you get like this dry chocolatey layer, like maybe 60% cocoa, something like that.
Probably for me, what you just said, I'd say, when you have a chocolate muffin and you get the chocolate chips right at the top of the crust.
The charred chocolate chip. Yeah. No,
that's kind of what I get. Like there's a dark chocolateness of that. That's what I seem to get. But at the end, not in the middle. In the middle, it's just quite smooth. I still get, which I'm kind of happy with how old it is. We don't get too much of the umami soy sauce. Like I know with a lot of old stouts, you get that real soy sauce kind of sauce. It's like a saltiness. It's kind of too deep. I don't get too much of that. I think that's what I'm pretty happy with.
I mean, this is the thing for me. Like, it has got an element of brown sugar to it. Like it's a little bit like leathery, but there's a wee bit of that oily treacle molasses thing in the middle of the palate, and then a bit of toasty brown sugar underneath. So I think the sweetness is like.
So do you want any more of it?
I'll take a wee bit more, because it's always good to get a wee bit of the kind of more yeasty bit thing too. But yeah, like that's for me. I mean, This isn't like double mash or long wort boil or.
So yeah, we used to. Well, we haven't done a lot of imperial stouts for a while. Last one we did was about 6 months ago. We do a long boil.
Okay.
So, and we do a short mash. When I say short mash, I mean like, I guess a half mash is what I call it, a short mash, but you'll say half mash. So we cut it so early on, and you can use it for another beer. We probably waste that a bit. We waste a lot of the work, so the extra sugar. We cut it off well before. We probably, business-wise, we probably should have cut it off and kept that. But yeah, we do sort of a short mash, and then we boil for about 3-4 hours.
Oh, okay, interesting.
So yeah, we, especially with the extra caramel malts, we boil much longer, and what that gives is a much thinner caramelized beer, so much thinner. So that's what we're looking for, very thin beer with that, because we know there's so many malts involved.
Yeah, because it gives you that really you do get that leathery brown sugary thing kind of lingering at the aftertaste with this. I mean, yeasty bit of the beer at the back of the palate for me is like rye bread in the middle, like wholemeal brown bread around the edge, then kind of toasty rye bread crust. Hoppy side of the beer, like you say, back corners of the palate, it's like really leathery, woody, well, more earthy and woody, yeah, and then a wee bit herbal, but yeah, touch floral and grassy around the front curve of the tongue, and the fruity notes are kind of what we said earlier, like, you know, like I'd say like raisins, plums, blackberries.
Yeah. I mean, I like to hear berries whenever I hear a stout. I don't just mean like a normal stout, but like when it's a heavy stout, I like to hear that there's berries involved, because that dark fruit gives it a little bit of extra layer.
It's kind of I think the thing I like about the old RAS, I'm not a great fan of the big pastry stouts that have that, you know, that marzipan-y granola thing to them. I'd much rather have something like that. The thing I like about these beers is you get that roasty, toasty, big bitter thing in the background, and then you get the sharp berries at the front. You know?
Well, I mean, the thing I would say with this beer is the smoothness that has come out of being 5 years old is. I mean, I've tried this beer a lot. Like this beer is in how many times we've brewed it, and we have changed the malts in between because, again, in Korea it's really hard to get the exact same malts all the time. Yeah. This is definitely toned down a lot of those harsh flavors, and we also used a lot of roasted barley in this. Roasted barley does not taste as smooth when it's a year old. It's intense.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes too astringent. I get that astringency, but
yeah, it reminds me a wee bit of there's a brewery where I was in Sweden called Nerd Brewing, and they leave their beers. They used to leave their stouts to boil overnight and go back in and take them. And it kind of reminds me.
Yeah, there's a brewery that I recommend if people do come here, yourself included. Seoul Brewery, I think they just did that sort of thing. I know Gorilla's done that in the past. I don't know if they still do it. But Seoul Brewery's done a beer called Abracadabra. So if you're here for a few more days, Seoul Brewery, they do have a tap house about 15 minutes taxi from here, I think.
We need to look into that then.
And they did that overnight.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
And then I think they put it in barrels. So yeah,
some interesting stuff to be had.
Sorry, Seoul Gypsy. Seoul Brewery? Seoul Gypsy.
Soul Gypsy. Okay. Soul Gypsy. Check those guys out.
Seoul Brewery also does good beers, so if you're in Korea, try them as well.
But yeah, no, to round off this one then, mouthfeel wise, I think at this point it's like bottom end of full bodied, top end of mid bodied for me. The bitterness in this I think is about 70, 80-ish IBUs, maybe slightly more because it gets drier into the aftertaste. Yeah, it's roasty underneath, smooth in the middle, dry sweetness on top, and then lovely kind of sharper red fruity note, particularly in the beginning, I would say. So yeah, really cool beer to try this one. Thank you for cracking this.
Cheers.
The video, so slanges. So yeah, just this one was the Ripper the Madman, an imperial stout with a shitload of malts in it and lots of different adjuncts and things. 10.3%, 5 years old.
Yeah. Bottled for 5 years.
Bottled for 5 years. Yeah, awesome.
Been conditioning in the bottle, and you don't want to look on the bottom there. It's muddy.
It's muddy. It's a good way to
everything drops out.
Oh, for sure. No, but thank you to Nick for joining us for this one. As I say, I might go and try one of the smoothie sours and round off the video there. Or say smoothie sours, the fruity sours. I'll go in and try one of those, and I think that'll be the end of this video. But thank you to Nick for jumping in and joining us.
Cheers for coming in, and viewers, come to Korea. we got good beers here, and I think he's already said there's good beers in Korea. So
Yeah, for sure.
please come to Korea and try them.
And Chillhops is one of the ones you want to check out. Let's leave it at that for this segment, guys. Cheers.
All right, guys. So just another little cool thing here then at Chillhops Itaewon project is this wall that they have here. So they've got a bunch of their beer cans and some different merchandise, and obviously they're watching The Office as well. So let's have a little look at the t-shirts that they have available here. So yeah, they've got the regular white Chillhops Brewing one here. Behind this, you can see the kind of blue one. On the back of that t-shirt, actually, you can see that's there too. I've got things in both hands, actually, so I can't really move them around. But yeah, the t-shirts are pretty nice. Yeah, if you come over here, they've got a bunch of the different cans and things. So Chur-Bro, their double IPA, that's one that I would love to try, actually, but unfortunately, they just don't have it at the moment. The Ripper the Madman, the Big Imperial Stout. Another one next to it, the Decadent Double Chocolate Stout. An older version of the Hops and Thrill, a West Coast Triple IPA this time. That would have been interesting to try. But yeah, here you can see a bunch of the different Hops and Chill cans, obviously from different times during the Chill Hops history. But yeah, you've got the house beers over here. Some of the other different ones down there. Some of the different iterations of Hops and Thrill as well, actually. And then here it seems to be the different sour beers on this shelf, which is quite nice. And then down here, the All Day Mate, which is their kind of house IPA, and a few other different editions of Hops and Thrill too. But yeah, here you can see they've got some glasses as well, all of which are quite nice. And of course, they've got their beer books for decoration as well. But yeah, I have to say, I do quite like this little wall that they have here then at Chillhops Itaewon. So cool to see all the different cans on display, I have to say. All right, guys. Well, time for our fifth and final tasting then here at Chillhops Itaewon project. So yeah, for the last one, I thought we would go for a style that I have never tried from this brewery, but apparently it's one that they have become very, very well known for. So yeah, I'm quite curious to see how this turns out. So yeah, the last beer that we're going to try is this one. So it's called How It Goes. It comes in at 7.2% ABV, and they're calling this one an Imperial fruited gose, basically. So this one has soured black currants and pineapple in it, so it should be really quite interesting. But yeah, when this beer poured, it had about a half finger of a frothy, kind of slightly pink tinted head. You can see there was a few bubbles on the side of the glass when it poured, but they've kind of faded away. But you can see it has this really nice sort of Heart of Midlothian burgundy kind of colour to it, which you'd kind of expect from this sort of style of beer, if you like, to be honest, because most of the kind of fruited sours these days, their colour is determined by what fruit is used inside them. So yeah, again, I hope this inside segment isn't too noisy. They love playing music in bars in Korea. That's just kind of how it goes. But yeah, as I say, we'll tidy it up with AI later on if needs be. So yeah, let's have a wee look at the nose on this one then and see how we go. Nothing really surprising about the appearance of this beer when you consider what style it is. So yeah, nose-wise, this one is very, very nice. I love the smell of black currants. You know, I think it's maybe a nostalgic thing with me because my gran used to give me Ribena all the time when I went in from school, so I have this really nostalgic thing when it comes to black currants, and that really stands out with this particular beer. So yeah, it's this lovely mix of like vanilla and blackcurrant that's coming out. It's very kind of yogurty. It reminds me as well of the Munch Bunch yogurts that my mum used to put in my lunchbox when I was a wee boy back in Scotland. So yeah, this one smells really, really good. So yeah, let's go with the aroma of this one then. So the backbone of the beer, you do have a little bit of that fresh white bready bread crust in there. There's a little bit of like vanilla coming out of this one. Fluffy white bread in there, wee bit of brown bready character as well. But on top of that, it's very kind of oaty. It's like got a lot of kind of yogurty vanilla type qualities coming out of it. Yeah, lots of vanilla and yogurty type qualities coming out of this one. It's got a bit of like Werther's original butter candy butterscotchy note to it as well. Wee touch of biscuit, of course. Yeah, I don't know if there's too much else to say about the malty side of this one, to be honest with you. It has got a little bit of a salty kind of character to it, which you would expect from a Goza, of course. The Goza, of course, is a style that originates from Germany, and the more modern ones are very creamy and oaty and things. But yeah, so there's that wee bit of saltiness in the top of the nose, which is great. And I really like that about it as well, for sure. So, yeah, on the hoppy side of things, I think this beer does have a little bit of hop in it, because you do get a wee touch of earthiness. There's some nice grassy and floral character in there as well. Definitely coming out of this one. Yeah, the way that goes together, I think, is really, really nice. There's definitely, a little touch of earthiness, a little bit of woodiness, bit of floral character, and some grassiness in there. But of course, when you add fruits into the beer as an adjunct, they're always going to suppress the green component a little bit. So yeah, for me, straight up with this one, you get the big, big black curranty notes. The pineapple kind of sits on the top of the nose with this beer as well. But of course, you're getting all these kind of like placebo notes, like candied strawberry, Haribo straw sweets that I always enjoy. There's definitely things like that going on in here with this beer, which I find really, really nice as well. Yeah, I do really like how this goes together, actually. I always find these beers very straightforward in terms of their aroma, but when they're done well, they can just be really nice and enjoyable. So yeah, this one I do really quite like. It gets a big thumbs up from me. The aroma, this is great. So yeah, let's just break the aroma of this. Let's just actually go and taste this one and see what it's all about. How it goes at 7.2% fruited goza with black currants and pineapple in it. My first fruited sour beer from Chillhops. Slange, Skull, cheers.
I wasn't surprised it was
Yeah, that's really nice.
It's like a company that constantly had to just big on
Yeah. You'll always find with these beers, they'll give you a hell of an impact when you have the first sip of them. But I have to say, this is really, really pretty good.
Right. It's like this.
Yeah. Yeah, this is absolutely worth trying to get the chance. It's taken a wee bit of time to adjust to this. I would say that compared to other gozas I've had in the past, this one does have a little bit more. This one does have a little bit more of a sharpness to it in the beginning, but it mellows out really nicely, and the saltiness really comes through in this as well. So yeah, the backbone of the beer, lovely kind of fresh white ready bread crust in there, little bit of wood, little bit of cracker. Yeah, a little bit of wood, little bit of cracker. There's a wee touch of like fresh brown bread in there, fluffier white bread. Yeah, brown bread in there, fluffier white bread. You do get a bit of a denser wheaty white bread in there as well, but then you feel the oats, and the oats, like I say, are giving the beer this really. They're giving the beer a really kind of almost creamy type character as well. Yeah, really nice oaty, creamy sort of thing coming out of this one. It gives the beer that almost yogurty type vibe, and it's got a wee bit of an almost vanilla flavour to it as well. In the dead centre of the palate, you do get a little bit of that Werther's original butter candy, butterscotchy type thing. A wee bit of biscuit as well. So yeah, the way that goes together, I think, is really, really nice. Yeah, I don't know if there's too much else to say about the middle third of the palate in this. When you go to the back third of your palate, you get all those bready flavours, of course. Yes. Then you get the yeastiness in there, probably in that that border region, if you like, between middle and back third of your palate. There's a wee bit of the saltiness coming out of this one. The yeasty side of this beer, it's quite fluffy and white bready, then a wee bit bread crusty around the edge. So yeah, the way that all of that pieces together, I think, is really, really nice in this one. That gets a big thumbs up from me. Yeah, lovely. Lovely beer in that regard, I have to say. Yeah, I like that with this one. In terms of the hoppy side of this one, having tasted it, I'm not overly convinced there are hops in this one now. It smelled like there were hops. But, yeah, as I say, on tasting it, it's either very light, noble hops that are in here, or there's no hops in it. But yeah, back corners of the palate, you've got that nice little bit of earthiness in there. As you move further forward, it becomes a little bit woody. There's a wee bit of floral note in there and a wee bit of grassiness. But yeah, other than that, there's not too much kind of going on in that regard. So yeah, around the front curve of the tongue, there's a little bit of a lighter grassy note coming out of the beer. There's a wee bit of zestiness there as well, of course, but you can certainly feel the black currants just going round the edge of your palate there and sort of suppressing that hoppy green component. But again, I do like how this goes together. Some of the juicier pineapple, the pineapple is giving you a kind of juicy side to this one. The black currants, of course, are giving you the sharper, more sour side to this beer. So yeah, I do like the way that goes together as well, actually. Yeah, it's definitely one of the sharper and more salty gozes that I've come across in recent times, because I feel this style is one that's getting sweeter and sweeter, in all honesty, generally speaking, in the craft beer world. But this is good. Certainly wouldn't hesitate to drink it again. I'm going to enjoy sipping on this until I'm ready to go, if you like. But yeah, very nice beer. In terms of the mouthfeel then with this one, yeah, top end to full body, top end to mid body, bottom end to full body, very smooth carbonation, quite creamy. You've got that big saltiness in there as well. The IBU, I think, on this one will be like 0 technically, but it'll be like 5 or something in practice. The malt base is a bit dry and really smooth in the middle, and very kind of creamy and sweet on top almost, but not overly sweet. And then yeah, you've got the sour impact in this one isn't too big, but yeah, the black currants of the thing's really giving you the sourness in this one, and the pineapple's giving you a lovely juiciness. But all in all, a really nice, enjoyable sour beer, this one, and I certainly wouldn't hesitate to drink it again. So yeah, I think I need to explore more of these fruited sours from Chillhops. So let's leave it at that for this one. This was our fifth and final tasting then. How it goes at 7.2% ABV, a blackcurrant and pineapple goes in it. So yeah, I'll catch you guys in a second with something else, and I'll give you my final thoughts on my time here at Chillhops. Cheers. All right, guys. Well, that is the end of my time then here at Chillhops Itaewon project in Seoul in Korea. So yeah, I ended up staying here for a good couple of hours actually, and obviously chatting with Nick, the founder, was great. Trying one of the crazy beers with him was also good as well. But yeah, I ended up chatting to a bunch of different expats who are here in Seoul, and it was a really, really nice time. So I really enjoyed trying the Australian bakery stuff. That was a really nice thing that I haven't had in a good few years, so that was a nice little bit of nostalgia for me. But when it comes to the beers, I was impressed as well. I really enjoyed the lager that we kicked off with. The 2 IPAs were great. That is, of course, the style that I know this brewery for. We tried the big crazy stout, and then I rounded off with one of the fruited sours, which is a style that this brewery apparently has become very, very well known for over the last couple of years. So yeah, all in all, a really, really positive experience here at Chillhops Itaewon project. This is a place that I'd heard about from doing my research on the brewery, and it was definitely worth the visit. I actually have no idea how much I spent here, but I don't think it was all that much. I'm still not overly familiar with the conversion rate from Korean won to euros and dollars and sterling and stuff like this. But yeah, I really didn't spend all that much. I'd say it would be in the region of like 35 or 40 pounds sterling, something like that, for all the stuff that I had. Of course, Nick opened up the bottle of stout for us, but everything else I paid for myself. But yeah, really positive experience here. I look forward to reviewing more of these guys' beers, and hopefully we find them in Hong Kong again at some point. But yeah, come and check out Chillhops Itaewon project. I decided to film the other way because of the light being a bit funny. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this out and about video. I'll be filming 1 or 2 more while I'm here in Korea. And yeah, come and visit Chillhops in Seoul and enjoy the Korean beer scene. Catch you guys in the next one. Kambe.